End time, mastery, go! We're going for fourth guard, a bulwark of strength and steel whose mastery of weapons, armor, and animation of molten metal dominates the battlefield. We get 35% physical and fire resistances, 3% increased armor for each hit you have taken in the last 10 seconds, and fourth strike as an ability. See you after farming. Welcome back everyone to the two-headed dual gaming channel Last Epoch and our Sentinel to fourth guard run, where we're focusing on throwing damage and dual wielding, and this is what we're going to do now. So far, I've reached level 23. I've mostly been playing with hammer throw, and it has been quite effective early on in the game, but then damage started falling off, and I think that maybe one of the main reasons why that happened was because I haven't invested points in the mastery as well, so I'm guessing I've lost a lot of damage from that particular tree, or, other bonuses that I could have spent the points on. But as you know, what I'm doing in between episodes is just that I'm farming for extra levels, and I'm rarely spending points by myself. I want us to try this together, upgrade the build, go for about 30 minutes together just to test it out, and then, make a plan for the future. So, first things first, let's take a quick look at gear over here. There's not a whole lot to talk about. A slightly better helmet, a bit more armor there, nothing too impressive. An interesting ring. This one gives us +4 to throwing damage and -3 throwing attack mana cost, and I feel like that is pretty good for what we're going for. We get some extra speed, some extra physical damage, so overall I believe that this one is a great ring that I want to have on us. I also have found this unique body armor, which provides us with 125 armor, 40 mana, 12 strength, 16% lightning resistance, and 1% increased mana regeneration per 3% uncapped lightning resistance. So, overall, an interesting body armor, not something that you would want to keep necessarily long term, but definitely useful for us as a warrior slash mana user. I guess that is the case. This is one body armor which I found had some hammer throw extra damage. Pretty good as an item, but not over the top impressive. Let's go now to passives first. So here we have reached level 20 in Sentinel, and we also unlocked the Forge Guard Mastery. I definitely want to spend some points here, and we'll start by throwing in Gladiator, where now we can dual wield weapons by equipping a sword in our offhand. We take more damage while dual wielding. So 9% more damage is really bad for this build, but I am hoping that we'll be able to survive going forward. I also want to put 1 point at least in Axe Thrower for now. Whenever you hit an enemy, you have the chance to throw an axe at the nearest enemy, dealing physical damage to all enemies in its path. This effect has 1 second cooldown, so we're gonna go with this one to begin with, and I'm not going to invest anymore at the moment. There is one question which I have. It's not something that I'll be able to test, or I want to test and figure out for the moment. At this moment we went dual wield, right? So that means that the damage will be additive, right? Yes, 222. So if I replace the shield with the sword, now we're at 275. That is absolutely awesome, and I look cool too. But one question I have is, if I go in this direction, towards Blade Master for example, you have an increased attack and cast speed while you have a sword or axe equipped. Is this per one weapon equipped? I'm guessing that that would be the case, otherwise you're pretty much going into overpower. But if not, could I invest 5 points over here and have an axe and a sword equipped and maybe get double the bonuses? Or maybe have 2 swords one in each hand and get double the bonuses? This is something, maybe you want to try it. I just wanted to put it out there, but there we go. Now let's start looking into Forge Guard Mastery, because I am really curious about it. We have Battle Hardened. If you have been hit recently, you have a higher physical resistance and increased armor, 4% physical resistance when hit, and 6% armor. We could go with Weapon Master, where we get an extra strength, increase throwing attack damage by 3 per point, and increase melee damage by 3 per point. I like that. And block effectiveness, this is not something that we want, we're not using blocks. So, I think what I want to invest in is definitely more damage. That's something that I've been using a lot, and I want to keep investing into that. Now we can get Unflinching, where we can get some stun avoidance and receive stun duration reduced. Okay. Definitely something to add on defensive layer. Fresh from the forge. Every 3 seconds, your next melee attack deals additional physical and fire damage. Every 3 seconds, your next throwing attack deals additional physical and fire damage. Excludes movement abilities. So that's +4 extra physical and fire damage. And yes, I will put 1 point here. What about Peltast? Increase throwing attack damage by 6 per point. Increase throwing attack stun chance by 6 per point. I like both of these, to be honest. I think we're gonna go with percentages for now. That's all the points that we have available. We have here the ability to do Force Strike, a melee attack that hits all enemies in an area in front of you, 25% chance to hit to summon a forged weapon which lasts 20 seconds, blah 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 blah. A very interesting melee attack that summons minions. Unfortunately, we're not going for melee attacks, so this is not something that we'll try out. However, Shield Throw throws a shield at a target enemy. The shield ricochets to up to 2 targets before returning to you. The cooldown starts when the shield returns to you. So we're gonna use this one. We're definitely going to throw it in. As you can see, Hammer Throw is now at 309. This is how those attacks look. Since I've increased the mana and everything, things have been going much better. Now we're also getting the extra bonuses here from Vortex Pennant because we are getting 71% increased physical damage because we're dual wielding. And by doing Warpath, we should also be throwing axes at enemies now at definitely a higher rate than before. I also found these Keeper's Gloves. It's nothing too special for us, for this character, but we're getting some poison resistance both for ourselves and the minions, and 10% chance to summon a swarm of bees on melee hit. That I found that to be very funny, and I keep remembering that movie. There was a movie, was it with Nicolas Cage or someone, and he's yelling, "Not the bees!" Yeah, I keep remembering that movie. So we're getting the next throwing attack has increased physical and fire damage. I like the fact that we can see it down here. I am going to respec out of Hammer Throw at this moment, so we're gonna despecialize this skill. And we don't have Manifest Armor or anything else for right now. I am just going to throw in, where is this one, the Shield Throw. And I am going to run around. First of all, we're gonna focus on Javelin and upgrade this one. Run around, use this skill for a while, and then we'll focus on Shield Throw. Just to have some clarity. For Javelin right here, it's very interesting in what it can do. First of all, if we go to the left here, we can turn the Javelin attacks into lightning. And I do want to try that out because I haven't played with lightning before. Down here at the bottom, we get some extra damages on enemies with high health, and I really like that. We can also deal more damage per pierced enemy, so if we throw in a crowd, we're gonna get more damage for that. Down here and to the right, we have reduced mana cost because this skill costs how much? 6 mana versus what did we have with Hammer? It says 0 at this point. Oh, because I think the base cost was 3 mana, and now we have that ring which reduces the cost for it. Next melee attack, reduce mana cost, nothing too special. Next judgment, okay. So certain skills that we don't really care for at the moment, we're not gonna go in this direction. If we go to the upper side, we can get some bleeding here. We can get some damage over time. We can actually turn this Javelin. You can see Javelin now leaves behind a holy trail that deals fire and lightning damage to enemies each second, heals you and your allies each second, and lasts for 6 seconds. But Javelin now has a cooldown. A 3-second cooldown can be pretty big, but I am wondering, for now I have an idea of where I want to invest, but I am wondering, maybe I can get this, and if this is on cooldown, maybe we can use Shield Throw in between, so that we can constantly, you know, attack, make it be really strong, however, still be able to constantly attack, you know. That's the idea that I have in mind for what I want to do. On this side, you can throw your Javelin into the ground. It builds a battle standard that damages enemies around, and also you have this ability where a battle standard can be picked up by an enemy and thus debuffing everyone around them. I felt like that was pretty cool. And over here to the left, we have some physical damage penetration and lightning penetration. Strategic Patience, Javelin deals more damage but has less attack speed, both multiplicative with other modifiers. Minus 25% attack speed, pretty big, but 50% extra damage sounds good to me. For now, what I want to do with the Javelin is that I want to go this way. We're gonna get some extra lightning damage. And then I'm gonna go with Divine Throws, where Javelin's base physical damage is converted to lightning. I would like to try this out. Maybe it would be better for the moment to stay with the Javelin on physical damage. Let's see, 478. Now if I convert it to lightning, now it's going back to 376. However, we can make this even stronger, right? We can throw in Electrify, and if we look at Electrify deals lightning damage over time, lasts 2.5 seconds, and can stack an unlimited number of times. Lightning penetration can reduce effective lightning resistance below 0% at this point, increasing damage even against enemies with no resistances. So we can do that, and then we can go to Divine Fury. When Javelin hits an enemy, it now splits into additional piercing lightning spears, which aim towards enemies close to the target. But Javelin itself can no longer pierce and it costs more mana. So that's 4 more mana beside the 6 cost which we have right now. I'm thinking that because I want to increase the Electrify chance, I'm going to get a point here in Bleed chance and Slow chance. Right, this one only changes the Bleed one, so we're also going to apply Slow. I'm going to go with one of these Purifying Lightnings. I will try to get Divine Fury as well, just to see how it goes. I am not going to invest another point because I don't want to increase that mana cost at the moment. We shall try it out and then we'll decide whether we want to keep doing this or not. I guess I want to reduce some lightning penetration, some of the lightning resistances that the enemy have. So we're going to go with Forceful Hurl here, and that's about it. Okay, well, let's get into the action. Let's see how this works. We're gonna change our main attack here to the Javelin. And it's looking pretty good. I guess in a way, the fact that we don't have lightning penetration anymore, one of the things that we have to be careful for is that we want to stay from a distance. Right, we want to stay at the distance so those redirects can go the right direction. Well, there's one thing which I'm thinking about right now, since I have invested in this and Javelin no longer pierces, then these attacks per pierced enemy do not apply anymore. Okay, so we have to be careful not to invest in that. So far so good, I like the attacks. I feel like we're doing good damage. The critical strikes provide us with about 400 damage. On normal attacks we are at 200. It's looking good because it seems like it's also stopping enemies in their tracks. I don't see the stun circles, and maybe it's just because of the electricity effect. Oh no, there is still some stun there. We have it. Okay, we've also leveled up Rebuke. As you can see, I've invested a lot of points in this direction to the left, mostly as I'm trying to use this as a very defensive ability. I am getting mobbed every once in a while, so I am throwing Rebuke. We are damaging enemies around us, but more importantly, I'm getting all of these buffs and protection, and so I want to go all the way to the end to use this ability sort of like just a buff. Right, we're gonna go in this direction, and then I'm going to invest in a bit more of a duration so that these buffs persist longer as well. Let's also look at Shield Throw because I feel it's important for us to invest into this one as well. What abilities do we have here? Well, if we take a look at the 5 nodes that we have around us, if we go to the left, Shield Throw has increased attack speed and ricochets to additional target, but Shield Throws cost more mana. At this point, we start with a mana cost of 17, which is pretty big. Over here, Forgeborn throws shield travels faster and Shield Throw deals additional throwing fire damage. Okay. I don't want to invest in fire damage. I would like us to stay on one element if possible. So we're doing physical instead of fire. I don't see any lightning at the moment. If I was to look for it. The benefit granted by ages are increased for each point of attunement you have. Okay, so it's point of attunement. There's nothing with lightning here. Then we can go down to the South Pole. Shield throw costs less mana. Okay, we can take down 20 points, 20 cost. And we have a mana cost of 17 at the moment. So we can make it free. Shield throw cooldown is immediately reset when your shield returns to you, but the number of shield throw ricochets is half, rounded down. Okay. Shield throw no longer has a cooldown and costs less mana, but shields are smaller and deal less damage. Okay, so you can make it very fast. You can make it into a build. Something that I expected. Armor Aegis, shield throw grants you armor for 4 seconds when it ricochets. I do like that. And we can get some additional throwing damage on shield throw. I believe that one of the things that I want to do is go this direction. We're gonna go armoring Aegis, getting that 20% armor on ricochet. We can get Colossus. You have increased armor while shield throw is on cooldown, 25% per point. It's not a huge investment and I feel like it's going to help us. We can get some health when it ricochets, armor stolen. Extra ricochets could also be good. Shield throw critical hits deal more damage based on your block effectiveness. We're not using a shield right now. And actually, let's see one thing. Do we need a shield for this? It doesn't say that you need a shield. Okay, you don't need a shield. But the cooldown is quite long. It's a bit unfortunate, definitely requires a bit more investment, but we're gonna see, we're gonna try it either way. I think that for the moment, we can get the extra ricochet. It's either that or get extra armor. Let's go for extra ricochet there. And we're gonna throw 2 in. Yeah. A bit more of an attack speed. Let's try it out. I'll try to work both of these together. And I feel like that can work. So I throw a shield, and then I throw my lightning spear while the shield is on cooldown. Now I'm getting myself some extra armor, so that's good. I don't feel like this is the most efficient thing I've ever done. Don't think that using shield throw and the spear is actually impressive, I guess is the right word. Yeah, the mana cost for using the shield throw is quite big for very little return. I think if we don't plan to invest into it, it's going to be not fun. I think I like the lightning spear more. Let's see, we'll do another shield throw. You can see that I am starting to run out of mana here. Increase health, 5% more mana. I mean, I guess it could work. I'll need to invest in the rebuke ability to get even more mana regeneration. But more than anything, I think we're gonna stay with the spear throw for now. Instead of using shield throw, which seems to work better if we are actually using a shield, because we can turn our block chances into damage. Instead of doing that, maybe we can unlock a few abilities from the Forge Guard and actually use it as some sort of minion base. I felt at first that the Forge Guards might not have anything for a melee fighter or for a throwing attack, throwing damage. and it might be just about protection and shields and all that, but there are plenty of modifiers which provide you with extra damage on throwing attacks. I guess because it also has the shield probe. It almost feels like they've made these teams for each and every one of the characters, and they've added the possibility to do so with with every one of the masters. So if you want to go for magic, all 3 classes have spells. If you want to invest into throwing damage, all classes have these modifiers. There's no class which doesn't allow you to do melee, range, or magic, which is pretty cool. I am thinking now about minions. The Forge Guard has minions. I don't seem to be remembering. There is something in my mind. I'm not sure if I'm actually making it up or what is the situation. But I seem to remember that there was something on the Paladin which created some sort of minions or balls on light. But maybe I'm mistaken, because I don't remember having the tags with the... Yeah, I don't remember having tags with minion on any of the other skills. I will have to take another look just to figure out whether that's something that you can do or not. At the moment, we have reached level 24. As far as what I'm doing here, fortunately I see no mana regeneration. And over here we get mana per basic attack, and that's not useful. Can we get any mana here? Your throwing attacks cost more mana but shred physical and fire resistances. Now all of a sudden investing into lightning is not great. You have increased mana regeneration and your melee and throwing attacks deal increased damage based on their mana cost. Okay, so it's making our attacks even more powerful. That's about it. Yeah, at this point I'm really starved for mana, which is a bit unfortunate. But what can you do? So do I want to go further with this one? It doesn't look like that is the case. Let's look for a mana cost reduction here. This is an increase. This is a reduction. This is a rain of javelins, but it costs a lot more mana. And then once again, we're getting even more mana cost. Okay, well, I definitely want to head this way. Do I want to get javelins hit deal more damage on high health enemies? That could work. Or I could get a bit more attack speed and damage. No, I'll pick the monster piercer there. We're gonna get serrated javelins to shred armor. And then we're gonna head towards excellence balance to reduce the mana cost there. As far as shield throw goes, there's a mana reduction here, mana cost reduction here. So I think that for the moment I'm going to invest in this until we unlock the next one, which is at level 15. It's still a while until we can get manifest armor. Okay, more mana regeneration. We want that. Not a perfect sash, but we're getting some help. And as long as we're getting mana regeneration, I feel like that is our main focus for the moment. I have a 120 mana pool, and it's weird because I really thought that the biggest cost I would have might be on the Paladin actually. But it turns out that the biggest mana cost I had it with this character, the Force Guard first, and then the Void Knight. to rebuke here, getting some of that extra mana regeneration and the buffs. Okay, so far so good. I think that maybe one thing that we should be doing is do a bit of respect. I like the lightning damage. But maybe one thing I should think about is that we have this relic which provides us with physical damage, right? So having this in mind, maybe, just maybe, it might be a bit more effective going to physical, right? Ooh, yeah, I should have gone out of that area of effect a lot earlier. But maybe that's what I should do. Still, for the moment, let's play with lightning. Let's see, let's take this all the way to the end. And later on, we'll do in the next episode, I'll look around, I'll try to figure out what passive skill points we're getting and what might be very efficient to have. And then we're going to refocus ourselves. I think we're going to refocus on just physical damage. So that we can maximize the potential damage that we're doing here. Probably a bit of crafting would go a long way as well. Let's see. Now, I see the axe flying off. As you can see, there's like these axes which fly off in the direction of the enemy. I don't see it as often as I'd like. I don't know, I guess if you want to create like some sort of a character with warpath, like that is something that you want to go for and you want to get this extra effect of throwing an axe, I guess you could do that. Maybe you have to make warpath your primary attack in order to make it useful and impressive and all that. For the moment, I don't see the warpath ability as being very good, even with the throwing attacks that is generating. Boss battle, this is the true test. Let's see it in action. 1 point, 2 points per attack. If I hold rebuke down now, I should be getting some buffs, which should allow me to do a lot more damage. Yeah, I guess the big advantage right now is that we don't have to sit nearby, right? So many of these attacks will never hit us. And we're doing decent damage. Can't complain. But I definitely don't feel like it's very useful to have the shield throw and spear work hand in hand, especially because of the high mana cost. If I have to spend, what is it? Let's say that I don't want to spend all of the points in mana reduction here to shield throw, and I invest only 3 so that I can get a minus 12 cost. That would be around the cost of this, of the javelin itself, right? Yes. But if I have to spend a lot of, like 3 points, let's say 3 points here in this skill to reduce the mana cost, and I have to spend 3 points here to reduce the mana cost for shield throw as well. Is that a good use of points? I think that going maybe rethinking the strategy, throwing in another ability, instead of just throwing in mana reduction. That might be good. I think we will keep only one attack. I think that is the case. We will keep only one of the throwing attacks. We'll focus on that, and then we will try to build up around it. This is going to take some thinking. I will have to look at some of the abilities and try to figure out what could go well with this spear. The only thing which I feel like I've made a good decision on is investing in Rebuke. Just because I can buff our character up, we can increase attack speed, we can increase some armor, resistances, all of that, right? We throw in the shield, we're getting mana regeneration as well. There's plenty of modifiers that we choose that have a good impact on what we're doing here. But other than that, not too much. I can't say that I have got this great master plan at the moment for what we might want to throw in. But I will spend some time in between episodes as we're leveling up, and hopefully I can come up with something really good in the next episode. With this in mind, hope you have enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Till then, I wish you all to have a wonderful day.